Test, test. Call to order the meeting of December 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m. on the dot. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have no invocation today. So, it's going to be an exciting meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Potato.
Here.
Bowman.
Here.
Cole.
Here.
Elfers.
Here.
Ranky.
Here.
All right, everybody's in attendance today. And a little excitement. We have 2 oath of office for new members tonight. And I'm so proud of it. I'm proud of both of you, so I look forward to this. I call up Miss Wilsey up to the podium to administer the oath of office. Let me take this. Okay. So we're going to raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Okay.
I
I, Nicole Wilsey,
will swear that I will support
do solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington
and all local ordinances that I will, to the best of my ability,
and all local ordinances that I will, to the best of my ability,
diligently and impartially perform the duties of the office of council member
of the office of council member
for the city of Sumner,
for the city of Sumner,
in and for Pierce County, Washington,
in and for Pierce County, Washington,
as such duties are prescribed
as such duties are prescribed
by law.
by law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay. Would you like to say something? No?
Thank you.
All right. Time for pictures. Okay. We'll call on the next one, Michael Hochstetter. Are you ready for this?
I think so.
You want to?
Do you want me to hold this? I think you're holding it.
Okay, I'll hold this. I, Michael Hochstetter,
I, Michael Hochstetter,
do solemnly swear,
do solemnly swear
I don't say that word very often, that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the State of Washington
of the State of Washington
and all local ordinances,
and all local ordinances,
that I will, to the best of my ability,
that I will, to the best of my ability,
diligently and impartially, perform the duties of the office of council member. I save that. For the city of Sumner,
for the city of Sumner,
in and for Pierce County, Washington,
in and for Pierce County, Washington,
as such duties are prescribed.
as such duties.
So proud of you.
I just think I feel okay, right?
Yep. Okay. Pretty exciting to have 2 new members.
right, so tonight we have a presentation, and I call on City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to recognize some of our outgoing council members that have been with us for a number of years. So I'm going to actually ask Councilmember Botetto, Councilmember Cole, and Councilmember Kluger, who's actually out in the audience, to come forward and stand up here next to me. Come up here so at least you're on camera. That'd be great. It's important. So like I said, I want to recognize 3 council members tonight whose service to the city of Sumner is coming to a close. Each has brought unique strengths, experiences, and a heart to this dais, and together their contributions have made a lasting impact on our community. So I'll start with Councilmember Barb Botetto. For 8 years, Councilmember Botetto has been a steady and dedicated leader for Sumner. Many of you may know this, but beyond the dais, she has invested deeply in the community through service with the Rotary, the library, the YMCA, and the Family Center, demonstrating a genuine belief in lifting up others and strengthening the social fabric of our city. Barbara is also known for her witty sense of humor, which has definitely brightened many meetings and reminded us that public service can be serious, but still fun. The insight, compassion, and historical perspective she has brought to this role will be greatly missed, and the positive influence of her service will continue to benefit Sumner for years to come. So thank you, Barbara. Councilmember Pat Cole. During your 4 years on council, Councilmember Pat Cole has brought enthusiasm, thoughtfulness, and a clear passion for helping the next generation thrive. Some may not know this, but she has devoted a lot of her time to volunteering with high school students, offering guidance, mentorship, and support, work that definitely reflects a deep commitment to Sumner's future. Pat also has a well-known love for reality TV. Her and I have bonded many times over this, which I suspect may have inspired her keen skills in navigating city governance with grace. Her dedication, perspective, and warmth will leave a legacy of engagement and heart. So thank you, Pat. Councilmember Pat Clergett. So in just 2 years, Councilmember Pat Clergett has made a strong and meaningful impact on this body. With prior experience as a city employee, he brought practical knowledge of municipal operations and a sincere commitment to public service. Pat played a key role in the initial design of the new operations facility, and it's even more serendipitous that you were able to vote on funding it and building it into construction, which is not something that you usually get to do as a staff member and elected, so that's really cool. That effort really shows that he not only envisions projects but helps bring them to life. Through his time on the council, though your time on the council has been shorter, the value of your contributions have been significant. So thank you, Pat. In closing, to each of you, thank you for your time, your energy, and your heart that you've invested in serving our community. I also want to thank your families for giving you the opportunity to serve on council. I know it's a lot of time away from them, so I want to thank the families that are here tonight supporting them. And then on behalf of the City of Sumner, we offer our gratitude and our best wishes. Your service has definitely made a mark on this community, and it will for years to come. So thank you.
Sherman's like, please.
All right. So we're going to move right on into the consent agenda. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Item number 1, Foster Garvey Contract Amendment, Litigation Defense Services. Item number 2, Municipal Court Judge Appointment. Item number 3, Approval of checks and electronic payments in the amount of $13,613,888 $1,000,000.27. Item number 4, approval of the regular council meeting minutes from the November 3rd, 2025 regular council meeting. Item number 5, resolution number 1735, rejecting all bids for wastewater treatment plant biosolids modernization project, CIP 21-17.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Bowman, would you please make a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Botetto. All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Would any council member wish to remove an item off of our agenda? All right. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimous. All right. We have no public hearing tonight. We move right into regular unfinished business. Ordinance number 2945, 2025-2026 mid-biennial budget amendment. That's a mouthful. I call on Chief Financial Officer Cassandra Raymond.
Mayor, would you like a motion before we begin?
Sure, we can
Councilmember Cole.
Councilmember Cole.
Yes, I move to adopt ordinance number 2945, amending the 25-26 biennial budget.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Bowman. Call on Cassandra.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our two council members. There we go. If I may say, the budget's the best part. So, with that, our 2025-2026 biennial budget was adopted on December 9th, 2024. We do adopt a biennial budget, so we're adopting an appropriation for 2 fiscal years. For this amendment, the RCW requires that any municipalities that budget biennially also adopt a mid-biennial review. More than that, we do this amendment because it's a really good tool for our fiscal management. These regular budget amendments provide council and our community and our staff with a timely and transparent view of our budget needs. It gives us the opportunity to review changes, revisit and revise forecasts as necessary, and then adjust for any programmatic changes. Through this process, all of our budget amendments, both our quarterly and our mid-biennial, are reviewed in detail at the Finance and Personnel Committee. And really, these amendments are an integral part of our overall financial management process. For the mid-biennial, we begin really in the fourth quarter as all of our department directors and our budget managers are reviewing budgets, not only for 2025, but looking ahead to the second year of the biennium for 2026. We put together that amendment and we bring it back to the Finance and Personnel Committee, which was done on November the 13th. My thanks to our outgoing committee. It has been a pleasure working with you these past several years, even when we have a marathon meeting of sitting for an hour and a half and going over 180 budget lines. So thank you for that. After that review, we brought our mid-bi to a city council study session where we really look at it at the programmatic level. After that, on November 24th, we came back for a public hearing on the mid-biennial. This is the one budget amendment that does require a public hearing. We received 2 comments of feedback during that process. And then we're here with you this evening for action on our mid-biennial budget amendment. At a glance, I've broken down our revenues, our transfers in and interfund revenues, as well as the outgoing side with expenditures, transfer outs, and interfund. Programmatically, this mid-biennial budget amendment accomplishes several goals. We make operational and programmatic changes to charges for service and associated expenditures in our general fund, Metro Animal Services, cemetery operations, our community and our municipal court, and our senior center. We recognize revenues and expenditures for our newly adopted Transportation Benefit District, as well as recognizing capital acquisitions for software, as well as changes in grant awards and associated expenditures, and support for capital projects such as the demolition of the skate park, facility infrastructure, Heritage Park and Hops Alley, a utility billing radio read program to improve the efficiency of our utility billing, as well as a building study at our wastewater treatment facility. Finally, we recognize a variety of labor changes, reorganization of our public operations department, labor allocations, and a non-represented market analysis. Again, we've already had our public hearing, but I'm happy to answer any questions from City Council as we present for adoption.
All right. So a formal public hearing was held on this on November 24th, 2025, so we'll be taking no additional public comments. But do we have any comments from council? Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I was just curious, just as a reminder on the general fund, which obviously is most of what taxpayers feel the difference of, right? So what are the additional, like, what's the net difference on this budget amendment for costs versus revenues?
Sure. So we're increasing our, actually, let me just go back here. There we go. We are increasing our revenues by a little over $220,000, and then our expenditures by about $1.2 million. So we will have some additional offsets in coming years. We've got about a 2.6% change in the general fund. So that will be made up with one-time revenues, some with recurring revenue lifts, and then again, we've got some offsets coming into 2026 that'll be recognized as well.
Okay, so about a 2.5% unexpected expenses, some of those recurring, some of those one-time.
Correct.
And then, if I remember, the biggest one-time expense was like a failure of a bathroom, right?
The biggest one-time expense is support from the general fund to our facilities capital of $275,000. That will essentially rehabilitate restrooms down here on the first floor where we've got a failure of a sewer pipeline.
Okay, and then one more question. So, and what it did, it's $1 million approximately is a pretty good amount. Was there anything done to kind of find ways to save costs or to have people reduce their budgets in different departments?
So that's something that we're always looking at. Through our budget preparation process, really one of the general marching orders from the mayor and the executive are, if you're going to bring forth a budget request, either be prepared to identify new revenues to support it, any offsetting expenditures, or if there aren't any, be prepared to make your case on why it's a necessary increase. That philosophy comes through to our budget amendments as well, and it's one thing that we ask all of our budget directors and our program managers to be looking at on a constant basis. In this particular mid-buy, we have some efficiency offsets, and we've also got some programmatic offsets. An example, we brought management of the senior center back in-house. In order to do that, we have to recognize the expenditure for those 2.25 FTE staff members coming back in. But we also will recognize in the first quarter budget amendment in 2026 a reduction of the professional service costs that we were paying to the third-party provider. Additional offsets, we have extended our interlocal agreement with the City of Bonnie Lake for municipal court services. We're actually going to have a little bit of a higher cost for the professional services, but I believe is a 0.75 FTE of a judge will come out of the budget. So we're always looking at kind of what those gives and takes are.
Perfect. So just in summary, the two main costs there's some personnel additions in the Public Works Department, I believe, right? And then there's some additional costs that are in the senior center, but that are going to be offset later. So a lot of it's personnel, and then there's the one facilities one that was the major item.
Personnel and then support there's $275,000 for the bathroom rehabilitation. There's an additional $115,000 that's supporting for the skate park demolition that City Council has already reviewed. And then there's some additional capital there are some smaller amounts sprinkled through there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody down here? All right. Seeing no more, will the clerk please call the roll?
Elfers,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Wilsey,
Yes.
Ranky,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Botetto,
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Passes unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to public comment. Michelle, will you please read the rules for public comment?
When the clerk or mayor calls your name, please step up to the podium. You have 3 minutes to speak. If you have not signed in, please begin your name by stating your name and the city in which you reside for the record. This portion of the meeting is an opportunity for the council to hear from the community. It is not a time for questions, dialogue, or a back and forth discussion. At the mayor's discretion, questions raised during public comment may be referred to an appropriate staff member for a response outside of the meeting. And tonight, Mayor, we do have 4 people who have signed up, and the first being Mike Brown from Lacey, Washington.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I don't know. Push again. 'Cause I'm off to a rough start.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
It gets better.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Mike Brown, representative for the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters, president of Local 360, which Pierce County carpenters are out of my local. I was here to talk about the bids were rejected, so I did still want to speak about public works projects. And in choosing public works projects, a lot of times the lowest bid is looked at. And I wanted just to, in this recent one, the lowest bid before it was rejected was a contractor, and sometimes the lowest bid has added cost. For example, this contractor on another project, that added cost was, it cost an underage worker both of his legs. So really, when we're looking at public works project, when public dollars are being spent, what is the public benefit? Are we only awarding these contracts to the lowest bid, or are we awarding them to the responsible bidder, right? Cost obviously has something to do with it, but a responsible bidder, we don't want to welcome in contractors that have safety records that are getting people hurt. Rather, we would ask to look into things like a community workforce agreement, which would have some real public value, where you get contractors, you have apprenticeship utilization, you have contractors that are going to get your projects done on time and safely. So those, another one of my colleagues is going to share some paperwork with the city clerk talking about those agreements and things to help protect and bring benefit to the city of Sumner when selecting public works. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your comments.
The next person is, please forgive me.
Alexi.
Thank you, Alexi. And you would you say your last name, please, for the record?
Girgallo.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. My name is Alexi Girgallo. I reside in Spanaway, Washington. I'm with the Carpenters Union. I've joined Carpenters Union straight out of high school. I graduated in 2006. In December 2006, I became a first bracket apprentice. It is a career for me, right? It changed my life, and it changed a lot of people's lives. And this is all about, responsible building, right? There's contractors out there that are utilizing apprentices, and what we would like to see, what I would like, the city of Sumner to urge is to look into community workforce agreements where there are requirements of utilizing apprentices, right? If you look in construction industry, and right now we have actually a shortage in skilled workers, and even we have a lot of management folks, older folks are retiring, and contractors are having a hard time finding folks to replace skilled folks to run the projects and things like that. There's a gap happen somewhere. So to make sure those gaps don't happen, and our sewer runs and our bridges don't collapse and our buildings stay in shape, we need apprenticeship utilization, and I think public projects could help that, make sure our infrastructure stays afloat, I guess, right, or runs well, and things work out. So, and then what Mike brought is when you guys rejected the bids, all the bids for the water treatment project that you guys had coming up, and one of the lowest bidders was Rochti Inc. And we're going to leave some, what we call it, truth back here with City of Council. And if you guys could take a look at it, it is quite scary when contractors aren't being vetted. One of the articles talk about this contractor has 188 violations since 2022. A 16-year-old kid lost both of the legs on one of their projects. I mean, there's continuing infractions of child labor laws with this contractor, and it's amazing that this contractor goes out there and still bids public works projects. So some definitely, one accident on a project could cost a lot of overruns and a lot of delays and a lot of issues and mitigations for the city. So we don't want that happening when these projects are successful, especially we don't want anybody getting hurt on projects. And there's a lot of examples out there of what's happening. So CWAs, or Community Workforce Agreements, help with that to kind of vet the projects as well, and a lot more responsible contractors to get the project. So I'm going to leave a draft here. This is with another county that we are currently working on. This is just a draft, something for folks who would participate. If there was any decisions to make, we would look at that. He would like to have a meeting with a mayor and city managers as well, and sit down and maybe just
Sir,
have
your
a
time is
conversation
up.
about
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment.
The next person is George Johnston. Jostin? Jostin.
George Johnston.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, citizens. I'm George Johnston, East Sumner neighborhood, 64th Street. Awesome neighborhood now that Sumner has got a YMCA down there. My wife and I have lived and worked in Sumner for over 40 years. I want to thank the 2025 Mayor and Council. You are our friends and neighbors. We have asked you to serve and represent us at 1 million meetings and many different events. Thank you. None of it was easy. Might have been fun, but it wasn't easy. You guys were up for it. 40 years ago, Sumner was pretty rough. I better get my glasses. Many councils and mayors have seen us through so many improvements. In 40 years, we have carefully and thoughtfully gotten better and more beautiful. A big thank you to staff and the police department also. In 40 years, we have added sewers, roads, sidewalks, new neighborhoods, schools, parks, shopping areas, a beautiful YMCA, and a library on its way. Sumner is truly blessed by our neighbors who are willing to serve. Thank you. Each night, my wife and I pray for this little town and the awesome men and women that make it go. We think of you every night and say, keep them safe, help them. Let's all pray for the next year and the council to come. Let's pray that they're gifted with that same wisdom and enthusiasm for our little town of Sumner. It's now become the Mayberry that everybody wants to be here. So thank you so much for carrying that.
Thank you.
And the last person is Randall Adams of Sumner, Washington.
Council, while Ordinance 2938 on donations is being held over until January, I thought I would address some of the concerns that I have in regards to it with you. It says the city administrator or designee shall have the authority to accept donations up to $5,000. Finance committee to have the authority to accept donations from $5,000 to $50,000. The city council shall only have the authority to accept donations above $50,000. Also, department directors and the city administrator may approve in-kind donations supporting budgeted or planned projects, regardless of the value of the non-monetary donations. No limit on those. The city administrator may accept all non-monetary donations of any kind, regardless of value, including but not limited to equipment and goods, but may reject any non-monetary donation for any reason. Why would the city ever allow the city administrator to act like God over all of these decisions? This is despite him for the last 2 years stating that the city is not allowed to accept in-kind donations or non-monetary donations at all, and all projects must instead be bid out and prevailing wages must be paid. What gives the city administrator this authority instead of his boss, the mayor, having them? At the very least, the donations decisions up to $5,000 should be the mayor's decision with input from senior staff and any council members who are consulted with. All donations above $5,000 for any decision or naming rights should be brought up to the appropriate planning or park commission for input and then brought to the entire city council for a vote. At the very least, anything above $5,000 should always be voted on by you, the city council, regarding of any kind of donations, and that you have to be the ones who pass it. I believe the strength in our city is you, the city council members and the mayor, who are voted into your positions by the citizens to represent our hopes and expectations. The staff are our employees and should never be allowed to act independently or go around our elected officials who should be making these decisions. Ordinance 2938 is an attempt to legitimize what the city has actually been doing with the Rotary Club and Canal Block Heritage Park for the last 2 years. Bring that out into the light and what representations have been made between the city and the Rotary Club before moving forward, and ensure those actions comply with Ordinance 2938. We should all be shown what funds are to be raised, what was the cost of the naming rights, and who approves what the stage is named. Specific information is needed to allow that transaction to proceed, if at all. This weekend marked the 16th anniversary of the assassination of our 4 officers up in Lakewood. One of my friend members was their Lieutenant Heidi Hoffman, and one thing she taught me was the importance of us having a blue light in front of our homes to let our officers know that we're thinking of them, that we're supporting them, and that we care. I ask that we all do that.
Okay, I kind of happen to think we have the best city administrator around, so I have to disagree with that one, so. Who else do we have, Michelle?
No one else has signed up, Mayor.
That's it? All right. Okay. Anybody on Zoom? I don't see anybody up there. All right. Oh, Mr. Hochstetter.
I've also lived here for 40 years, and I want to thank Mr. George Jostin. I don't think all the years I watched council meetings and involved since we've moved here, anyone walk up and do what he did tonight. And I think it's very nice that someone talks about the positive of our town.
Thank you. I agree. All right. Moving on, ordinance number 2951, establishing the 2026 compensation. Councilmember Botetto, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah. I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2951, establishing the 2026 compensation schedule.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Seconded by Councilmember Cole. I call on Deputy City Administrator Jeff Steffens, who's already standing there staring at me.
Ready to go for the sake of efficiency. Good evening. This ordinance will establish the 2026 compensation rates for all city employees. Included are previously approved contractual increases for the city's unionized employees, which are represented by 4 different labor agreements. All proposed compensation changes fall within previously approved budget allocations. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Any questions? Seeing none. Any comments from the public on this? Mr. Adams?
As I looked at the disclosures, it appears to me that the last union that approved their contract was in November, but it was dated for January 1st through the end of the year. So my presumption is that they then earned a lump sum payment. Thought maybe we could clarify if that was the case, because it appears that that is. Then, in regards to our senior executives, officers in the city, from 25 to 26, I think from 24 to 25, they had like 7% increases. But this year, the city administrator went up almost 11%, from 235 up to 260. The new deputy city administrator, Jeff, his position was created this year, and that's 248. Our city attorney and police chief are at 236. They went up. The city attorney went up 9.2. The city chief 6.3, which seems a little light for him because he actually saved us $400,000 a year for the last 13 plus years by not having a 911 call center here. He's actually earned, I think, his increases. So my question is, who negotiated these increases for senior staff? Because it certainly wasn't the union. Was it staff? I mean, or was it the council? Was it the finance committee? Who was it that when a time when we're at 3% increase for CPI, we're at 10% increases for senior staff?
Thank you for your comments. Andy, go
I
ahead.
did. I was about to ask a question, Jeff, but I'll just ask it now. So can you tell me a little bit about that negotiation that ended in November? I thought that was pretty interesting. You spent just a couple of minutes working on that.
Yeah, the city just recently completed negotiations with our Teamsters agreement, our Teamsters union, a series of 30 meetings. It lasted well over a year to negotiate that contract, and it was retroactive back to the first of this year. So those employees we're calculating retro payments for their wage increases is how that works.
How does that compare with other negotiations you've done?
Much longer and more drawn out. A significant number of changes, really good partnership between us and the union, but there was just a lot to flush out, so it took longer than normal.
And how do you feel like the outcome was as far as the city is concerned?
Well, I'm always going to say that it was good.
That's good. I feel like we had a couple conversations in executive session. I thought you did a really good job and held your ground. So
it was a favorable agreement for all parties involved, I think.
Okay.
That's the outcome we shoot for.
That's it. Okay. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. That's a lot of meetings. And then other question, just to clarify on how the executive staff, there's a study, but can you just elaborate just really quickly how that works?
Yeah. We conduct a salary study for all of our non-represented employees, kind of a very similar process to what we go through with our union agreements. We look at external comparables to our positions and make sure that our salaries stay on par with neighboring cities. It's important to keep talent here, that we're not losing employees to cities like Auburn and Puyallup and Bonnie Lake. Those results are presented to the mayor and city administrator, finance director to check through the budget, and then it's run through finance committee.
Thank you. And then just one more question on executive staff. I think one of the things I've been aware of being here is that a lot of the executive staff has been here quite a long time, and I think that's really positive, and I think we actually attract people from other cities. Is there any way how do we compare with other cities? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, typically we do this process as we open positions. If we have an employee leave, we'll make sure that the salary that we're recruiting for is accurate. So when we go out on the market, we're getting accurate salaries. When you have employees that don't have a lot of turnover, we don't do that. So that's when the salary study comes in. Our executive compensation is on par with our neighbors.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I just want to comment and just say that I think that having turnover is very expensive, and so I think it's better to keep really good employees if they're doing a good job. And I think Sumner's done a fantastic job. When you look at other communities, I feel like we've had people come to Sumner. I think of Mr. Johnstone, for example, who was in Bonnie Lake, and he came here, and I think that's a good addition to our staff, and I think we're attracting talented people because of the way we treat our executive staff, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Oh, thank you, Jeff. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Bowman?
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Elfers,
Yes.
Hochstetter,
Yes.
Wilsey,
Yes.
Ranky.
Yes.
Okay, passes unanimous. Okay, we move on to procurement of OpenGov asset management software. Councilmember Ranky, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I would like to make a motion for move procurement of Operation Government Assessment Management Software.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Bowman. All right, I call on Deputy Public Works Director Ryan Johnstone. Ready.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Excuse me. It's wonderful to be here with you this evening. I don't often get a lot of FaceTime with you, so this is kind of nice. It's pretty great. And thank you for the name drop, Councilmember Elfers. It is absolutely a pleasure to be here in Sumner. And so with that, what I wanted to talk with you all briefly about tonight is procurement of some new asset management software, specifically OpenGov Enterprise Asset Management. So I'm going to read here from my agenda bill really quick, and then I'll be available to take any questions if you have any. Most government entities responsible for maintaining public infrastructure utilize asset management software to track, among other things, maintenance history, expenditures, and staff resources necessary to keep these critical systems functioning. Provide data for compiling accurate budget requests and forecasting future staffing needs. Since approximately 2017, the City of Sumner has used Asset Essentials to capture this data specific to city utility and public infrastructure systems. However, Asset Essentials has been challenging for staff to use. Vendor support has been inconsistent and it's sometimes unresponsive. And the software is at the end of its service life and unable to meet our needs as we exist today. Because of these factors, the city researched various asset management software alternatives and selected OpenGov as an OpenGov Enterprise Asset Management as a replacement for Asset Essentials. OpenGov, which is Enterprise Asset Management, is formerly known as Cartograph, provides a much more friendly and customizable user interface, incorporates features that city staff currently use other software to provide, and is recognized as one of the leading asset management products for government agencies. It's currently in use by several neighboring jurisdictions, including the City of Auburn, City of Puyallup, and I believe it was recently also placed into service, or it will be implemented at the City of Des Moines, if I remember correctly. The implementation process here for the City of Sumner will be a 2-year process. Over that time, we will implement various domains, which is basically different modules, if you will, that will be for the specific utilities and the different asset classes that we'll be serving with this software. The year one cost, inclusive of implementation and training, will be $130,229.11. Year two cost $73,684. And year three, which will be the first year of after implementation and training is complete, will cost $77,369.04. The year three cost is representative of the anticipated annual cost for the software moving forward. Procurement of the software is being completed through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative, ensuring that we're meeting all procurement requirements as established by City of Sumner policy. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
All right. Go ahead, Barbara.
So isn't one of the features of the program is it'll keep track of like maintenance, that you like, I think in finance they talked about, maybe there was a notebook people would have to go back and find, but this will kind of track things so that you know that, okay, it was done this day and needs to be looked at again. So
it will. In addition to that, it basically looks at each of our assets from a life cycle perspective. So from the time we procure it to the time it needs to be replaced, we're tracking history of maintenance, we're tracking any labor costs that go into maintaining that asset, parts, impact on inventory. It covers a whole suite of things associated with that specific asset so that we're able to make an intelligent decision about replacement, provided it doesn't just blow apart and we need to replace it sooner. But we will be capturing that.
Yeah, that made me really think it's a good program to have.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else on the council? Go ahead, Greg.
Just a quick question, Ryan. I saw you gave the budget numbers for year 1, 2, 3. What happens for years and after? There's also an amount, I'm sure, right?
Yes, yeah, there is. And I think in the agenda bill, I say, year 3 is representative of what we'd see for an annual cost moving forward. I would expect to see that we'll increase that. It will see that increase gradually over time as costs go and inflation changes things. And,
I was just curious. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, hey, I'm excited that we can track things better. It sounds like this will help with budgeting. Is there any way that we're able to determine, like either from other cities or as we use this, what if there's any cost savings or maybe ability to do that? Is there any numbers or data that we're able to track or some other cities have tracked and kind of can see if we're saving money with this?
There is. I don't have any for you this evening, but we've had a couple meetings with the City of Auburn already to see how they've implemented, and they've been using this software, and talked with them a little bit about what they're seeing as far as efficiencies and improvements are concerned. I'd be happy to dive in a little bit more with them and bring some information back if you'd like to see that. But certainly, they've been a huge help for us in getting us to see just how they've improved their operations by using this software. So I can go and talk with them and give you some more specifics, but I don't have anything specific to dollar and cents this evening for cost savings.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more. We're going into a budget cycle in 2026, and then this sounds like a great opportunity to say, hey, how can we make sure we're improving that and being proactive and not hitting with big surprise expenses. Just doing the mid-buy thing, just things like that, where we're like, hey, these things were end of life and we planned for it. I just really appreciate that. And so if we can learn as much as we can from Auburn and try to be as efficient as possible, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. I will go ahead and say that one of the items that this software really helps with is the idea of eliminating what I call recreational maintenance. Well, we go out and work on something just because, well, it's the next thing that we need to do. We need to be smarter in our approach about how we maintain our equipment, maintain our assets. This will help us do that by being able to properly plan when we do these activities and not just because it's the next thing we need to do. That helps us with staff time. It helps us with what it is that we're purchasing to work on these assets and so on. So definitely, though, I can bring some more information for you. Yeah.
Any other comments down here? Any comments down here? All right. How about the public? Do we have any comments on this on the public? Anybody online? Don't see anybody. All right. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Cole?
Yes.
Hochstetter?
Yes.
Wilsey?
Yes.
Potato?
Yes.
Frankie?
Yes.
Elfers?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay. Any comments from the public? Oh, we already did that. Never mind. We will move on. We're moving on to Andrea.
Can I make a motion, Mayor?
A motion?
I'd like to make a motion to
Yes.
read ordinance 2949, franchise agreement with Forged Fiber 37 LLC. Is that the right way to make the motion?
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay.
You need a second, Mayor, before I
What's that?
need a second to that motion, please.
I'll
Yes, we need
second.
a second. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrea, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm here tonight to present ordinance 2949. This is a franchise agreement between the City of Sumner and Forged Fiber 37 LLC. So a franchise agreement is essentially a master permit or a license to use public right-of-way to transmit, construct, replace, improve public utilities. And in this case, we're talking about telecommunication facilities. These are extremely common, very formulaic agreements. We have them, for example, with PSE, with Comcast, with FatBeam, with Ziply, for a few recent examples. Forged Fiber 37 LLC is a subsidiary owned by AT&T, and AT&T is in the process of purchasing a portion of Lumen's telecommunication facilities in Sumner. So this is an acquisition. This is not a new utility that's going to be punching or boring through our city. They're quite literally purchasing Lumen's assets in Sumner. So it essentially allows the same infrastructure to stay in place and maintains the status quo, although this franchise agreement will provide AT&T with the ability to improve and replace those assets over time. This franchise agreement that's before you tonight for the first reading essentially mirrors recent franchise agreements that we have executed with other utility providers, which is a requirement of federal law that they be equitable and consistent among providers. The term is 10 years, and it grants a non-exclusive right to use public right-of-way for these telecommunication utilities. Being a franchise holder requires that if a city project, for example, a road widening project, requires any of these poles or infrastructure to move, that the franchise holder do that on their own dime. And each expansion or improvement of the facilities requires a separate permit application fee, and review process before they go out and do the work. This is not a permit. This is essentially equivalent to a master license or an easement to use public right-of-way, but they have to come in at each juncture and get permits. So now moving to the process, because this is a bit unusual, franchise agreements require 2 readings under state law. So tonight is the first reading. Public comment is welcome. Council comments are welcome, but there will be no final action tonight. This matter will be back before you on January 5th for final action. And happy to answer questions.
All right. Any comments from the public? Randall?
I think this will be an easy one. I was just asking if the Lumen assets that are being purchased are the ones that were put in a couple of years ago before the last spiffy or whatever those guys are. Because we've had two sets of lines laid in the last 4 or 5 years. And if this was the first one that AT&T is purchasing.
Anybody else? Nick?
Just a quick question that maybe one of the council members can ask.
Excuse me, would you please state your name?
Yes,
for the
Nick
record?
Bierman, 5802 Parker Road East. Just a quick question that maybe one of the council members can ask. Is public comment also allowed at the second reading? That's more of a procedural question, I guess I'm asking. So that's it.
I didn't understand him. All right. Andy. Go ahead, Andy.
Andrea, would you mind answering that question?
Sure.
Sounds pretty simple.
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay, you bet. I'll start with the latter first. Yes, there will be public comment opportunities at both readings, including on January 5th. To the former, I will do my best to read what Carly Nations with AT&T provided me, and then I understand, I believe she's in attendance. If I don't get this quite right, maybe she can offer additional information. So, Forged Fiber is taking over the F2 fiber, which is the fiber that starts at the first neighborhood fiber cross-connect panel and ends at the customer's premises. Lumen is retaining the copper cables plus their F1 fiber, which is the fiber that starts at the Lumen central office and ends at the first neighborhood fiber cross-connect panel. Can you tell I'm not an expert in the telecommunications? But that's the answer I have in terms of what infrastructure they're buying and how far their impact will be. I do not believe it is connected in any way to the recent franchises with FatBeam or Ziply.
Thank you. Do we have any Zoom? What? You have something, Andy?
I don't know. I was thinking about it. I was curious. Is there any revenue impacts on the city with this franchise agreements, and what does that look like? I guess up or down, same thing. Or?
So we are prohibited from charging. Well, we can't prohibit them, and it is really difficult under federal law to charge a franchise fee. So what we do in Sumner is we charge a pretty hefty application fee. That $7,500 is intended to cover all of the staff time and administrative costs associated with negotiating this agreement and implementing it. And then on the back end, after it's executed, we charge permit fees for every single boring or new pole or any construction activity in the right-of-way. We charge a permit fee.
Perfect. So the goal is this is revenue neutral.
It
they
is
cover the
pretty
cost.
revenue neutral.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. You good? Are you good down here?
I have a burning question. Okay, my name's Pete Hochstetter. I live on the east side of town, and all of us in here know it. We live east of Valley Avenue, and on west of Valley Avenue is basically the core and such, and they throw this stuff up on telephone poles. Everybody goes to work, they don't even know the difference. When you go on the east side, we live in swampland. We live in land that what used to be way worse, George, 40 years ago. It does drain, but it's swampland now. Now all these vaults they put in fill up with water. I'm talking the fiber optic people and even the cable people before. They fill up with water. You can't walk in some of the, what do you call it, the parking strips and such. Well, we've had two, Ziply and Lumen, that have now come through the easement in front of our house now already. And it's less than 5 years. It's like 3 years total. I'll save some of my comments about that. However, it tears it up worse than you think. Does anyone here live east of the valley? Does anyone? To know what I'm talking about. When you live west of Valley, you don't have this interruption. My burning question is this for the attorney. Is this unlimited? How many of these people can come through? Is there a limit to how much space or how many times another fiber optic and another and another and another want to come through? Is there a limit to that? That's my question. For their benefit.
Andrea, would you mind answering that question?
Sure. I don't think any of us in the room are going to love the answer, but federal law prohibits us from saying no to any franchise applicant for telecommunications. The Telecommunications Act, which is passed by the FCC, actually prohibits us from saying no. We have taken steps to try to mitigate some of the impacts that these recent fiber optic providers have caused. We are aware of all of them. Trust me, staff have spent an enormous amount of time trying to address it with the franchise companies, not at all related to what we're talking about tonight, but we have made changes to our code to help prevent and mitigate a lot of the issues that have occurred. Unfortunately, hard lessons learned, but we've tried to take steps to make it a little bit easier on homeowners.
I'm sorry. It really is relevant. It really is relevant. When we built our house 40 years ago east of that, when we built our house 40 years ago east of Valley Avenue,
So we
didn't have this invention.
Comments, Pete? So
Pardon me?
we already had your comments, Pete?
Oh, I thought it was a follow-up to explain a little more.
Yeah.
They didn't have fiber
We might be
optic.
here all night if that happened. Thank you, though. Thanks, Andrea. Any other questions? No, I think we're good. Okay, so since this is just the first reading, there will be no
Mayor,
voting?
I'm sorry to interrupt. There's somebody online, I understand.
Do we have
Ms.
somebody
Marquez, it
online
was
that
just-
would like to speak?
Ms. Marquez, it was just Ms. Nations, so I
Okay.
don't think she needs to speak.
Her hand is up.
I don't know if I am unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, this is Carly Nations, representing the applicant. And yes, Andrea kind of perfectly described what Forged Fiber is acquiring. How I like to think of it is last mile fiber. So it's really the lines that run from those neighborhood junctions to the customer. But happy to answer any questions that come up in this reading or the next one as well. But thank you.
All right.
Nothing more from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, so since this is the first reading, there will be no voting on this, and it will come before the council again on January 5th, 2026, for a second reading and a vote. With that being said, we move into reports. Councilmember Ranky.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First and foremost, I would like to thank Mayor Hayden for her dedicated service to the city as not only mayor, but council and planning commission. Also her 43 years. When I used to have hair, you used to cut it. And both my sons for many years, so I appreciate that. But I do appreciate her service and I've always enjoyed her company. I would also like to thank Barb Botetto, Pat Cole, and Pat Clarigat for their service. I got on the same time as Pat on the council a couple of years ago, but I've known Pat for 40 years. We both worked for the city for many years. And getting to know Pat Cole and Barb has been a pleasure. I really look forward to the meetings with you and interacting. The next thing I would just like to say is I did the bridge lighting on Saturday. That was a pretty fantastic event. A lot of people there uptown. I walked through town. A lot of shops were busy. There was a ton of people over at the cannery, standing room only. Really great event with beer garden and the booths and the fireworks. I think everybody enjoyed it. And then coming up here this weekend, December 6th, is East Pierce Firefighters Pancake Feed, 7 to 11 Saturday morning. Come on down for some pancakes, ham, and drinks. Also that same day at 3:30 is Santa Parade, so that's starting in town. And then also starting this weekend is the Santa runs for East Pierce, and Sumner will be on the 17th. They're switching it up a little bit this year, so it's going to be at nighttime, so it'll be kind of cool. At 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the 17th is going to be Sumner's Santa Run. And if you want to know the other ones, they're on the website for East Pierce Fire. There's about 12 different days they're doing this year, I think. So those are always fun for the kids and families to partake. And just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a great New Year, because I won't see you till then. So thank you.
All right. Deputy Mayor Bowman.
Yes, thank you. So ditto on most of what Councilmember Ranky said instead of just going down through the list. But I will say it's been a real pleasure serving with Councilmember Botetto, Cole, and Clarigat. And the committee meetings were always a great time. I mean, we thoroughly enjoyed them, so it was a lot of fun. I'd also like to thank Mayor Hayden, and I think the city administrator is going to talk about a celebration for her, so that's going to be coming up, so that'll be nice. But I'd also like to welcome the new council members, Hochstetter and Wilsey. Hopefully you guys are excited and will enjoy serving the community like the rest of us do. And then with that, yep, we got the Santa Parade coming up. That's always fun. You're going to enjoy that fire truck that has minimal brakes, so just hang on for the ride. But Councilmember Ranky does a great job getting it to stop and go, so it's a lot of fun. So I would just say thank you.
Councilmember Botetto.
So it's been an honor and privilege to serve the city of Sumner for the past 8 years on the council and earlier on the Arts Commission. I gained so much during the past 20 years serving the city. Sumner is a well-run city with highly skilled staff who are passionate about the city. The city has overseen multiple projects that have helped both the city and the surrounding area, such as leading the improvements to Traffic Avenue interchange. I served on the Finance and Public Safety Committees. The financial status of the city is strong. We all should have confidence in the financial health of the city due to conservative forecasting of revenue, processes used to review expenses, the success of securing state and federal grants, and a thorough budgeting process, which took hours and hours and hours, but well, I'll miss that, you know.
I bet.
Serving on the Public Safety Committee helped me understand the police and fire department's roles, along with tools they use to help deter crime. I'm sure many of you were at the bridge lighting over the weekend at the old cannery. The fireworks were impressive, making it a great start of the holiday season. We need to thank the old cannery for their role in so many city events throughout the year. And our council has been a council that has worked well together. You know, I've enjoyed each one of you and getting to know you. And I hope the new mayor, Bowman, and council will have the same experience. And welcome to Michael and Nicole. So I'm glad to serve on a city that has a vision statement that says Sumner will set the standard of excellence for a progressive small city. And then I'd like to thank my husband and my friends that came to support me this evening and all the staff. So thank you.
Councilmember Elfers.
Well, it's always nice to come here and have people here, especially tonight. I think it's great to see families and folks supporting some incoming members of council, and I'm excited to work with Michael, and I'm excited to work with Nicole. So I think that welcome, and then obviously a little bit sad to see Barb and Pat and Pat Cole and Pat Clairgett to move on. So again, those are some opportunities to learn to keep working well as a city. So I appreciate that. And then again, we're not meeting till January, so everyone have a great Christmas and New Year's. And then I think one quick update: we had the Pierce County Regional Council meeting I attended on November 20th. So 2 items. They had a couple of presentations that were fairly thorough. One of them was on the Pierce County Library. The other one was on it was the Greater Pierce County Continuum of Care, which is really about dealing with homelessness in Pierce County. Some interesting highlights from that presentation, I thought, were there's 2,661 individuals that were basically reported that were homeless in Pierce County on the last count. And I think one of the things that stood out to me was just the breakdown of what the reason for their homelessness was. And I think over 50%, if you count them up, the top reasons were there was no affordable housing available, 14% approximately, family crisis or breakup, about 14%, domestic violence, about 12%, eviction foreclosure, about 11%, and loss of job, about 9%. So between those top 5 items, it's about 50% of the reason for homelessness. And so, again, we're trying to address some of that as we can as a council, trying to provide some ways to create jobs and help families. And so we have a great couple resources in Sumner. I'm really proud of the family center here. And so that was one thing that was a highlight of the presentation. And then the second item was the Pierce County Library. So Gretchen Casarati did a presentation. Says they're serving about 680,000 people across the county. Have a 5-member board. I wasn't aware of the fact how they were run. They have a 5-member board that's appointed by the Pierce County Council. They have about 1.4 million visits to libraries, about 5.4 million checkouts this year, and they have about 330,000 card holders. So it's a pretty big system. We're excited to have a new library in town, and so our partnership with Pierce County Library is pretty important as well. So again, thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate your comments, and looking forward to the people that I'm working with now, and then the people that are leaving. We'll miss you.
Councilmember Cole.
Yes, thank you. So I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to actually be on the council. It wasn't really anything that I aspired to, but it's just been a great experience. I mean, a lot of fun, very educational. I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend it because, you know, there are people who were like me and would think that, oh, I could never do that, but if I can do it, you can do it. So I urge you to just give it a shot. It can happen. So I wanted to tell you or talk to you about my sort of my three biggest takeaways from the last 4 years. One is I got a really deep understanding of how city government operates. I work for a city, a large city, and I only know a really small piece of how it operates. But I've learned so much by being on this council about how Sumner does it. So I would get those bills like we all get, tax increases, utility bill increases, all of that. And I never questioned them, didn't even think about it. It was a small amount. And for me, not a big deal. For a lot of people, not a big deal. For some, it was a big deal, or it is or continue to be a big deal. But now, this opportunity to be here on this council has educated me so much because now I get it. Even though I didn't question why that we had those increases before, I don't have to do it now because I know that it's about, well, we need this equipment or we need a certain level of service to maintain that level of service, or these streets need to be fixed and we can't get money any other way. There are reasons for these increases and I really get it now. So I really hope that you guys are out there listening and that you get it as well, because I've just heard different things about what happens with these increases and it's all legitimate as far as what I have heard and seen. So that was number one. Number two is I've actually heard a lot of incorrect information when we have public comments. My 4 years, especially the last couple, but I've heard a lot of incorrect information. So I would like for all of you who are listening that know that there is a mixture of fact as well as opinion when people are up there providing their public comments. So don't rely on those statements. There are checks and balances. There are checks and balances within the city. As a city employee, if I were a City of Sumner employee, there are whistleblower protection laws that will protect me, that I can actually go to if I have an issue, if I see something's not right, I can go there and then they'll look at what's going on in the city. As a person out in the public within the city, you can do a public records request. If you don't like what you're hearing and you're concerned about what you're hearing and you really want to know the facts, get the documents, ask for them. So that was one of the other biggest takeaways that I've gotten here. But I do encourage you all to just go get the facts. The last takeaway out of my top three is that I think the city staff are not only talented in their respective fields, but they are genuinely nice people. I think they really care about the city of Sumner. And I, for one, was so grateful for them, for their honesty, their openness. And I know that this isn't an easy job. I know that it's tough when you're dealing with the public. You can't be who you are. You have to just let the public just run all over you if that's what their intent is. So they take a lot of abuse. And I appreciate everything that you guys do every day because I've walked in your shoes. I continue to do that. I really, truly appreciate it. So I just really want to give you my top three takeaways. And I do have a couple other things to say. One is to the city council members. This has been so much fun. I have had a ball, especially before 6 o'clock. Thank you, Pat Clergan and Michelle. I mean, it's a lot of fun to get to know people, to get to understand these issues, to learn what the issues are. It is really an eye-opener. So that I will never forget, and I cherish all of the relationships that I have formed here, and I hope to continue almost all of them if that's possible. So, and while as the next years go on, don't forget about River Grove. I feel like I brought attention to the River Grove area. It's out there. We're out there. We're on the other side of 410, but we are a part of the city. So just don't forget us. And lastly, I just want to say to the Sumner community, be nice to your neighbors. Don't go down the path of division. We need to build this community, not break it down. And I wish nothing but success for the city of Sumner and its residents. So thank you for listening to me.
This is a good one. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mr. Hochstetter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank the people of Sumner for the opportunity to serve. Like many of you, I was at the bridge lighting recently, and I just want to share my experience because I think this really encapsulates why I've made my home here and why I want to continue to serve. We knew the bridge lighting was going to happen. Obviously, it's a big deal. We go every year, and we live kind of by the high school, and so we come out on Main Street, and first thing we see is a bunch of Spartan football players coming back from their victory against Puyallup, coming into Dairy Freeze. Wife gives one of them a hug because they're a student of hers and congratulates them. I thought, wow, what a moment. Then we go to the Main and Wood intersection. I got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. We hit the button and we get a safe cross, because I remember when that was kind of sketchy. That's a testament to what this staff has done and this city has done together. I felt so safe taking my 2-year-old across that street, and I thought, wow, score another point for Sumner right there. Then I look over and I see Township 20, which is a new restaurant, has come in, which revitalized an old house that was over 100 years old, proudly flying a Spartan flag. And I thought, wow, score another one for Sumner. Then I'm heading further down Main, and I'm seeing the Hallmark-esque Christmas lights by Lori and the Sumner Main Street Association. What a beautiful job on Main Street. It just kept going, and then I see Deputy Chief McCurdy wave at us, you know, when we come in, and I thought friendly police staff as well. Then I see our former mayor in Bill Pugh, our current mayor in Kathy Hayden, and our mayor-to-be, Madam Mayor Bowman, all standing on the same podium together. What a testament to Sumner. Ringing in the Christmas, spirit and the season and all that. And we had 3 leaders all standing up there, transfer of power throughout the time, and a civil city that I'm proud of. And I just walked away so excited about being sworn in for the city council 2 days from then. So I just want to say there's nothing we can't do when the private sector and the businesses work together with the city staff and the government and organizations like Sumner Main Street Association. That's what makes Sumner thrive. If that's not worth working together to preserve, then I don't know what is. So I look forward to continuing to serve and make my home here. So thank you, Sumner.
Okay. Yeah. Councilmember Wilsey.
Well, thank you very much for, letting me have a chance to step up and help. It's been an interesting experience, and I am excited to get involved. I'm excited to step up and help. I appreciate my family, my husband, and all of that. And I'm looking forward to what we get to do. The projects that we're going to be able to take a look at and see if we can help the community thrive and grow, but in a way that honors what we are and who we are. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve and the community support in that. So thank you.
City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. As some of you alluded to, we are, getting all worked up here. The last meeting of the year. So I'm excited about that. I think you all are too. It's going to be nice to have a few weeks off, celebrate the holidays with our families. So this is our last meeting. We'll reconvene on January 5th when we will select a new deputy mayor. We'll select council committees. We'll swear in Mayor-elect Bowman, and we'll also swear in Councilmember Mark Evers. At the January 12th study session, we will be discussing the process for filling Mayor-elect Bowman's council seat as well. So we do have to fill her seat within 90 days. So that'll be at the end of March. I'll hold off on talking about the Santa Parade and the pancake feed. I think those have been covered already. But I will let you know, next Wednesday, the 11th, city services will be available starting at 10 a.m. This is to give our employees the opportunity to gather, celebrate their achievements this year, and give out our annual awards. And then on Thursday, December 12th, the community is invited to celebrate Mayor Hayden's service to the city. She's served the city since 2014 in various different roles. We'll be holding an open house for her from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Senior Center. There will be some treats and some refreshments provided, and we'll just honor her. So I invite the public and all of our elected leaders to participate in that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think we got everybody. So the Santa Parade does come this weekend, a Saturday at 3:30. It'll go down Main Street, but from the high school this way, not like the other ones. So I look forward to seeing everybody there. After the Santa Parade is the state championship for football. Go Spartans, what a town we live in. And thank you all for your kind words. You never know. She's not gone till she's gone, but it is what it is. So I adjourn this meeting at 7:19.